The program's speech-to-text chat EVO allows you to write messages in the online chat of Assetto Corsa-EVO directly by speaking into your microphone. It can also automatically translate what you say into the desired language. The way it works is simple. The program records your voice while you hold down the insert key and creates an audio file that is sent to the Deepgram API, which converts it into text and sends it back to the program. If you have enabled automatic translation, the program will then communicate with the Google AI API, which will provide a translated version of that text and send it back again. After that, the program executes a sequence of commands in Assetto Corsa-EVO. It starts by opening the chat box with Enter, then it pastes the text. At that point, you will be able to read the text to confirm it by pressing Insert again, or cancel it by holding Insert down. Once validated, the program presses Enter to send the message. If you use SimHub, it can be very convenient to emulate the Insert key with one of the buttons on your steering wheel. You just need to go to Controls and Events, then Keyboard Emulation. Otherwise, you can use any other program that allows this kind of key emulation. Now I'll show you how it works in the game. Note that the program was designed to work automatically with a single button only outside the pip menu. Since the chat system works differently in the pip menu, the automation used to paste and send the text doesn't function correctly there. However, there is a dedicated mode for that, which we'll talk about right after. We'll start with a simple test in English. Hi everyone. You can see that my text is written in the chat box and ready to be sent. If the text looks good to me, I can validate it, but for this example, we'll cancel it by holding down Insert. Now we're going to try in French. I start by pressing F9 to switch the language to my second configured language. Then I enable translation with F10. Bonne course, bien joué. The translation looks good to me, so now I'll simply press Insert to send the message. Now we're going to test the open mode, which you can activate with F12. This mode allows you to use the program in a less automated way so that it is more compatible with other configurations, such as here in the pip menu. It may also potentially allow you to use it in other games as well. The main purpose of this program is to allow you to send messages while driving, but it can also be useful in the pip menu, especially if, like me, you play in VR and don't want to lift your headset and grab your keyboard, or simply to benefit from the automatic translation. Start recording. J'adore cette voiture. Once the text has been generated, do a middle mouse click on the chat bar to paste your text. If the text doesn't suit you, hold the middle mouse button to delete everything. To send the message, you can hold the left mouse button and then click the middle mouse button. Now let's see how to install and configure everything. Start by unzipping the archive into the folder of your choice. Next, you need to obtain the API keys. At minimum, you will need the Deepgram key. If you are not interested in translation, you can ignore the Google AI key. Go to deepgram.com and sign in, for example, with your Google account. We will use the pay-as-you-go on-demand plan, which provides $200 in credits for requests, which is far more than enough for this use case. After a week of testing, I only spent 5 cents of that $200, so basically you can consider it free. Go to the API Key tab and click Get New API Key. Keep this code safe and do not share it. For the Google AI API, it is exactly the same. Go to astudio.google.com, sign in and click Get API Key. Normally, one key is already created by default. You can use that one or create a new one. Once you have your keys, open the config API file with a text editor and place them in the corresponding locations, then save the file. At this point, the main setup is done and the program should already work. But let's take a closer look at the available settings. Start by opening the sttc-evo file. At the top of the code, you will find a list of parameters. Deepgram needs to know which language you are speaking in order to transcribe the text more accurately. Lang 1 and Lang 2 allow you to configure two languages you want to speak. Lang 1 will be the default language. Refer to the file list of configurable ISO language codes if you are not sure which letters to use here. You can change activation key if you prefer to use another key instead of insert to control recording and sending the text. Toggle lang key is the key you can use to switch between your two configured languages. Translate enabled lets you enable or disable translation when the program starts. If you want translation and have entered the Google AI API key, write true with a capital T instead of false. Target lang is the language you want to translate into. Here you do not need the ISO code, just write the name of the language in English and Gemini will understand it. Toggle translate lets you enable or disable translation while using the program. You can also change the key here if you want. Auto send is an option that automatically sends the message without the validation step. I do not recommend enabling it, but it is up to you. Hold threshold simply lets you change how long you need to hold the insert key to cancel sending the text. Here you can enable or disable open mode when the program starts, and below that you can disable the middle mouse button, shortcuts used to paste the text. Just below that, you can change the volume of the different sound effects. One last useful thing to configure, if you are using translation, is to modify the prompt sent to Gemini. Inside the prompt file, you will be able to write whatever you want. You can adjust it according to your needs and preferences. Save your changes, and you can now launch the program by opening the file, launch sttc-evo.bat. If everything was done correctly, you should see something like this. Start by doing a test to make sure your microphone audio is detected properly. I'm doing a test. If you see your text appear in the console, then everything is working correctly. Note that the API response can sometimes be randomly quite slow, and other times very fast, depending on peak usage times. I hope the program works well for you. Let me know if you run into any technical issues. I'll try to help if I can.